Neil, thank you very much. It really is an honor to be here at this grassroots rally, and this is really what it is. This, Rich said it, this is how we're going to win this election this November. This is how Chris Gibson is going to become our representative so he can cast your vote in Congress. I've known Chris for, 25 years. I was a transplant to Kinderhook. I moved there in 1983, and Chris grew up there. And I was introduced to him by a lady, a neighbor, who said, there's this young man, he's just gotten out of Siena, he went ROTC, and he's going into the military. And he's going to work his way up, and he's an officer, and he's going to do great things for our country. And she wanted me to meet him, and I met him, and I was impressed right from the very start. And that was 25 years ago. I think I was 12 and Chris was 10. I don't know what the ages were at that point. But the fact is, Chris and Mary Jo and their family moved back to Kinderhook last year, and we were so excited to have them back in our community. He served his country for 24 years, rising to the rank of a colonel. You've heard it, 4 Bronze Stars, a Purple Heart, multiple academic credentials, multiple decorations, multiple things that he's done academically, militarily, politically, where he's learned the process of what a congressman has to do. I can't tell you enough about this guy, but I have to say, when I mentioned that ROTC thing, I can't wait till I see his opponent, who was demonstrating at Harvard against ROTC at Harvard on campus when he was active there, when he was in college in the early 90s, against a guy who served our country, who's led men and women in our country's military, and who so distinguished himself. The thing about Chris Gibson, though, is not his impressive resume, although that's a lot. The thing about Chris Gibson is that he is the man for the moment. And this is the moment when we've got to fight back to take our government back. That's really what this is about. This year, the federal government, 40 cents out of every dollar they spend is borrowed from your children and grandchildren. 40 cents out of every dollar. You've seen what's happening when you overpromise in a country like Greece. Well, if you followed what's happened in New York and California and states like this, you could almost say New York and California and some others have been following the Grecian formula, if they will. And I'm not talking about hair coloring. I'm talking about a philosophy where it says to people, we'll give you more than we can pay, and we'll send the bill to our kids and our grandchildren. America has woken up to the fact that this is not a direction that we want, that we need, that is right or moral for our country. And that is why Chris Gibson is the man for the moment. Because he understands what we have to do to build our economy, to get back to basics. We can't live as a country paycheck to paycheck and never save and spend everything we have and max our credit cards out. It is a prescription for economic disaster. It's a prescription for leaving our children and our grandchildren with a country that is weaker than what we found. We had these veterans lead us in the pledge to the flag. And so many of those people who fought for us in World War II in Korea, many of them are starting to leave and have already left us. But let's not forget the things that made this America great. Free enterprise, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and a free government where people can choose the course and the destiny for themselves. That is the kind of congressman that Chris Gibson will be for us, and it gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce to you our next congressman, Chris Gibson.